As I said, I'm not a filmmaker, but I've been involved in documentary since the last century. 1975, I started working with documentaries in the Danish Film Institute. At that time, it was called the Danish Film Board, and that was my school because I was there for 20 years. It was a huge institution dealing with production, with distribution, with festivals, with public relation, whatever. So that's where I learned my basic skills and got addicted to documentary. Then I was for 10 years after that I was head of an organization called European Documentary Network, which was also based in Copenhagen, where I come from, where I live, in Denmark. And when we started this organization in EDN in 95, there was a lot of money from television stations around Europe. This has gone a little down. It's more film funds and film foundations which are giving money now for films. Going back, even before I was born, to 1939, this organization, Danish Film Institute, it was called something else. It was called the National Film Board of Denmark. Just a little parenthesis, there are two pioneer organizations in the whole world, which is called National Film Board. One is in Canada and the other one in Denmark. In 1939, these two institutions started, very much, for those of you who are interested in film history, very much influenced by the idea of a Scotsman called John Grierson, who went to Canada to set up the National Film Board because he said, well, documentaries can be important for the development of a society, for the democracy, to create debate. Documentaries can inform, but what he also said which was very important and which was adapted by the Danes, that these documentaries should not be didactic, pedagogical films, boring. No, they should have an artistic feel. They should be made by filmmakers. They should be films. What is the most important? Of course, the audience. Huh? I know that there are filmmakers say, I'm not thinking about the audience when I'm making my films. Okay, but it's nice if the audience is there. If there is an audience, if you know that when you are making a film, there will be an audience. And this is something which has been part of the Danish documentary culture from the very beginning because of this institution. Even the most artistic directors, I will talk about one of them later on, called Yörgen Leta, because he's part of the High Five program that I put together, starting tonight at 6 o'clock in which hall? Blue Hall, yes, with a little promotion. Even he, who's a real artist, and if you ask him, who are you thinking of? I'm not thinking about, I'm expressing myself. But way back in his head, he knows that when he made, for instance, the film that you're going to see tonight called 66 Scenes from America, he knew there is an audience. Because the system, the distribution system was there. They were produced 16mm copies and they were sent around. Audience today, where do the Danes see documentaries? There are many platforms. I hope you can read it. The first two here are the modern ones. They are streaming platforms. So the situation is that if a Danish director / production company makes a contract with the Danish Film Institute, gets money to make a film, they also in this contract sign that the films should be they are obliged to put them on a streaming service. So all new Danish documentary films are available on either this one, which is called Filmcentralen, which is for free. It's only in Denmark, unfortunately. But in all Danes, 5.6 million, can access this Filmcentralen and watch a Danish documentary at home without any problems. It's for free. Some films are available through this Filmcentralen. There are some producers who make agreements with other platforms where you should pay, let's say, €1 or something like that. But still, they are obliged to advertise it here on this Filmcentralen. There's also for something called Filmstriben, which is available through the public library system in Denmark. Another parenthesis. This whole philosophy of making documentaries available for the audience, for the population, has very much connection to the public library philosophy in Denmark. And then, of course, cinemas. Yes, Danish documentaries go to cinema, but with a very, I would say, limited audience. I think it goes up to, if it's really successful, in our small country, 5.6 million people, it goes up to 10,000 tickets, something like that. And it needs publicity, publicity, publicity. And this publicity is supported. Everything is supported in this country dealing with film. But there is a special documentary support scheme called DOCU, DOCU, which is taking care of and supporting the promotion of documentaries in cinema. So around 10 films per year are being shown in cinemas. Television, yes. We have a public broadcaster called DR, Danish Television. We have a semi-public broadcaster called TV2. Both of them are involved in documentaries because they have been told to. I'm not sure they like it, but it's a part of this media law, so to say, that the Danish Ministry of Culture, film is under the Ministry of Culture, of course, says you have to support documentaries and also fiction together with the Danish Film Institute. Almost all films supported by, I'll come back to that, in the Danish Film Institute, are being screened on television. And then you can say, okay, what time? Is it prime time? Yes, there is one of the channels, DR number 2, which has a prime time time slot for showing documentaries. I think it's, is it 9:30? 9:30. Yeah, so that's a good hour, good hour for documentaries. Festivals. We have a film festival, documentary film festival in Denmark as well. It's called CPH Docs. They are extremely successful. They are they are broadening the concept of what is a documentary to being a lot of other things like documentary radio, documentary exhibitions, documentary concerts, whatever that is. They have a lot of concerts, they have a lot of parties, etc., etc. And they have a big marketing budget, which means that it is quite successful. It is supported by the Danish Film Institute, but also by the municipality of Copenhagen. It is not possible today to do a fully financed film like we could do way back. So now the role of a producer is extremely important. The producer must be internationally orientated, be able to travel, to find partners in other countries. The average funding of films today, percentage-wise, is around 60 to 70% from the Film Institute. If they give, they don't give more because they expect the film producer to be active and go to other countries. Luckily, again, there's a Nordic brotherhood, sisterhood, whatever you will like to say, that the Swedish and the Danish, the Finnish and the Danish, sometimes even the Norwegian, they are a little apart, I would say, from a Danish point of view. They collaborate, and so a Danish film can be supported by Swedish Film Institute, vice versa. So that's one thing, but you need to go also outside Denmark and try to raise some funding from, for instance, European broadcasters like Arte or Arte is maybe the key one. And there are funds also around which are giving funding for films. So now I will go and show you some clips from films that one way or the other I think are important in the newer Danish documentary film history. And I would like to start with a film which is from, you can say, a part of Denmark, Faroe Islands, a very special place, still wanting to be independent, still more or less, I would say, colonized by us Danes, but indeed something which has awoken the appetite from several filmmakers to make, films about what happens up there. And what I'm going to show is a little clip from a film called 1700 Meters from the Future. It was made in 1990. Director is called Ulla Boye Rasmussen, and it is made on film material. So just have a little clip from that.
Den hakse tinteren og tintar mjadra arna tintur. Søgne sier en ørn 80 her. Bæra en kona gynn opp i tinten. Det var et ungt pær som flotti ut, og i tintalma begva. Og de 8 bad, og ørnen kom og tok badni og flein igjen tinten ut. Konan hon var fått tvivla, hon klev upp tinten, og da han kom opp sånne ørnene pikka egen ur badnen så da blint. Men hon fikk så badnen nere at det vissar, men da jeg kom om han til hus, da gjør det lykka vær. Og så igjen har ikke mennesker bo atter i Tintalen.
Og i luft at han fyrir tan loa grunta Tintalen ligger bygden Gasadælar. Og i ølter boløyga og 60 folk her. Nå det 16. De høvufjöllene utanum Gasadal byrja bygdene av. Einasta farløyen bygdagøtan fjallet. 24 åren sujan var samtikt at Gasadal måtte være løyvlega. Tuschel var avrått å sette hål av fjallet. Jeg bor et bergkål, nesten 2 kilometer til langt der, således at bygden fikk samband ved omhøymen.
A group of us, some people working as film directors, as from television on the island, regional television on the island of Bornholm. It's a little island, Danish island in the middle of the Baltic Sea. Said, why don't we make a film festival? And we made for 10 years a film festival which included films and filmmakers from the countries around the Baltic Sea. And that's where I discovered fantastic films coming from Lithuania, Latvia, also from the region around St. Petersburg. The Russians were also invited, like Viktor Kosakovsky, Sergei Dvortsevoy, people like that. They came from Sweden, fantastic director who's making fiction, Roy Andersson. Songs from the Second Floor, if you have seen that. Wonderful film director. From Poland, Marcel Wusinski. All these people, they came there and they were there, and we got very close to them. Maybe one highlight for me was that I met the master, I would say a master of masters called Herz Frank from Latvia, who made a film that I hope everybody has seen called 10 Minutes Older. Yeah? You've seen it? Come on. This is on my 10 best documentaries ever list. He came there, Herz Frank, and I saw his films, and it was also developed into a friendship. I visited him when he was living in Tel Aviv. Actually in Jerusalem, I met him in Tel Aviv. And I've been, supporting him as I could also from my job in the Danish Film Board. Anyway, so that was, it changed my professional life actually totally. And so that's why I think is the reason why I'm here also, because I love what is very good about your country, so to say, if I could put everybody, all of you, into one box, which is of course not possible. But anyway, the good thing is that you have not suffered from Western European television demands. You understand what I mean? I mean, BBC, it has to be that long. It has to be with a commentator. It has to be editing like this, not like, etc. I mean, all these demands, I think that you have not suffered from that because your television is not so developed. You said it. I remember, I don't know so much about Ukrainian television, but I know about Latvian and Lithuanian television. Oh my God. I mean, and also been down in the Balkan area. It's Stone Age, I mean, in terms of thinking and so on. They're still trying to develop, but they have not played a role, and therefore there's been more freedom, you can say, to do the films in the duration that you want to. On the other hand, as Roman and Dasha know, there's also, when you do international co-productions, you have to play according to the rules. And they have, with Ukrainian sheriffs, they made a 52-minute long film for German television. So this is also, if you have big productions and so etc., well, you have to play according to the rules, but you also have your own film, so to say, the so-called director's cut. Anyway, back to 1990, where I was not the only one fascinated by what happened, and a Danish director called Lars Johansson, Swedish name but Danish director, he made a film in '93 based on him traveling through Eastern Europe. And I will show you a little clip from that. What is interesting, I mean, so far we've had Faroe Islands, Denmark, shot on film. Here we have a mix. There's a film material in this, and there's also video. So it's a mix, and you will be seeing that very clearly in a moment. The title is Traveler's Tale.
Det er bare at give slip og lade sig rive med strøm. Så er man allerede undervejs. En pludselig indskydelse er nok til, at dagen med et skifter retning. Jeg fortaber mig i vejenes filtrede spind, og jeg ved ikke, hvad det skal ende med eller hvor. Og det gør ikke noget. Det er for længst holdt op med at være én historie. Og jeg må gætte mig til, hvad jeg tænkte om det. Verden flygter ikke længere foran mig. Den kommer mig i møde. Den passerer igennem mig. Og jeg kan være hvor som helst. Mine skridt er lette, og mine øjne er vægtløse skaller, der flyder på strømmen.
Wszystko, żeby mi nic nie brakowało. I zboże, i kartofle, i buraki, i truskawki, co tylko mogę obrobić. To jeszcze wszystko sieję. Jak długo, to nie wiem. Bo musiałam zarobić pieniędzy i kupić 5 morgi pola. W nocy musiało się robić, czy w polu, czy młocić, czy jeść, gotować. Wszystko nocami. Powiem pani, że nawet się nie chce i nic mówić. Tak człowiek dobrze jest.
75 minutes. I mean, what is... This is a director with a classical dilemma. He went on a tour. He had filmed with his camera. He had a cameraman who did the film part, and he did the director. Lars Johansson is also educated at Danish Film School as a cameraman, and he did the video part of it. And then he comes home. He's been traveling down to Romania. Here he is in Poland. He goes to Hungary. He goes to Slovakia. or the other way around, and then down in Romania. And he meets some people, and he comes home. So, what shall I do with this material? How can I create something? How can I create a story? And that's where the let's call the fictional part comes in. He creates a story, and later on, there is he meets a very beautiful Romanian woman who actually was one that was meant to and was his guide in Romania, and he falls in love with her, and that is indicated in the film. So suddenly, in the middle of filming old people like the woman here, and later on down in Romania, another farmer's couple, there's also a love story into it, which is quite interesting, I would say. Actually, he made a separate film about this woman later on from Romania. He went back and he made a film about her also. So reality, bang, into him, into his face, and yeah, something happened, as things can happen. And so this is the way it is. And then he thought, how can I frame it? And he went to a Danish writer, Danish author, who's been publishing a lot of books also abroad. And he said, could you help me? Can you write a script? Can you write the story? Can you frame it? And he wrote it, and this is what you hear the voice of an old man who's thinking back. So, you know, instead of just in brackets making, and then I went to this place, and then I went to this place, he's trying to do something different. If it's successful or not, I don't know. But at that time, it was very interesting trick to make something into a story, because documentaries are like fiction, isn't it? Storytelling. Remember that? Storytelling. Another parenthesis is that the Danish Film Institute made an investigation. They were talking to, I don't know how many, some hundreds of people about their understanding of documentaries. Why do they want to watch a documentary? And of course, I mean, it's no surprise, but it's good to have it confirmed because of the subject, the theme. What is it about? So it's not, I want to see this film because it's by Steven Spielberg. No. It's nothing to do with that. It's, you know, it's the theme that counts. So sometimes you have to remember these words said by a television person. I remember that content is king. Still, how do you treat content? How do you make it into something which is interesting? And that's where the storytelling comes in. What kind of storytelling do you find? Where does it come from? And in this case, I would say he found a literary way of telling a story.
What advices can you give how to develop your own style, where to go, what to look for? And
yeah,
that's what interests me in Danish film school, and
yeah.
That's what, yeah.
Well, I mean, there are other film schools also. Let me just do a little commercial for a film school where I've been teaching. I'm not doing that any longer. A film school in Italy, in northern Italy, called Zelig. Zelig, like the title of a Woody Allen film, Zelig Film School. And they have 3 years. It's a 3 years education. And the way that they are doing it is that they have the first year everybody is together. learning basic skills, doing their first short film, 5 minutes or something like that. The next year, they're divided into, these 30 students are divided into 3 categories: director, camera, editing. And then they specialize and they end up making a graduation film. And what they do in this film school is and actually I think they do that more than the Danish film school. They are saying, well, you can make your graduation film as you wish. And this is, of course, a challenge, and that's where you maybe can find your own style, as you are saying. But what advice I would say? I mean, do something, work. I mean, this is, I think, one of the reasons why there is this good documentary culture, and there are many good films made in Denmark, is that they work. They have something to do. And I mean, this is the best way of, learning by doing, right? I think this is how it is. Jean-Luc Godard and François Truffaut, they sat on the first row in the film theaters in Paris, and they said, this is the best film school we have. They were just watching, yes? And they saw the same film 10 times or something like that. So they knew every bloody cut, huh? This is a way also to... Yeah, so, I mean, this is fantastic. You just go to DOCU Days. You buy your ticket. I understand it's very cheap. And you go in, and you watch, and you watch, and you watch. You don't work this... Are you working this week? Call them and say you don't come this week, because you are going to watch films in DOCU Days.